Today I'm going to show you how to make a canvas covered theatre flat. It's a very simple piece of woodwork. You will need to know how to cut some halving joints however. If you already know how to cut halving joints, then move on to the next video. If you've never done one before, then stay watching and I'll try and make it nice and simple for you. The first thing to do is to mark out the joint. So using a piece of scrap wood, which is the same size as the piece you're wanting to join, you put a mark either side like that, and that shows you how wide you need to make the joint. Then using a square, you just scribe along. You'll find if you use a sharp pencil, you'll get a much more accurate joints. So as you can see, we cut it there, and we then need to put a little line, and again we mark it with our square. Now the joint we want to cut is going to cut this in half, and we're going to take out all of that bit there. Now as we're going to be doing a lot of these joints, rather than trying to measure each one across here, we're going to use a tool called a gauge, and this is just a little point on an adjustable stock here. We can move this backwards and forwards. I've already made it to size, and we just go along there and we can very quickly make our line, and then we know we can cut that bit out and life's nice and fast. The next step is to cut down the sides of the joint. As you can see, we've now got our two pencil marks, and when you cut with a tenon saw, you want to cut on the inside of the mark that you've made. And in that way the edge of the tenon saw lines up with your mark, and you get a much more accurate joint. If you try and cut on the joint, on the line, then you'll end up all the time with the joint being too wide. When you're doing woodwork, it's very easy to make something wider. It's very hard to stick a bit of wood back on to make it narrower. The next part of the process is we need to cut this piece out. Now we could stand here and cut it out with a chisel, but that's going to take quite a while and you need to be quite practiced at doing it. So I'm going to cheat and I'm going to use a router. The advantage of using one of these is we get a nice, neat cut and a perfect fit every time. So that's how to cut the halving joint. Now you can move on to the next video and find out how to assemble it all in order to make your canvas covered flat. Thank you for watching.